welcome. This is AEL Riverina Cup 2021. My name is Fetch. This is formal. We have a finals series already. It's only week 3, I know, but the teams have been banging out their matches. We have the group stage completed, and now we have what should be a pretty good finals bracket. Formally, excited for some more Rocket League as I am.
Yeah, I'm always excited for more Rocket League, and today, of course, it is going to be our run through the winners bracket, which it's going to be an exciting day for sure. It's not do or die just yet for a lot of these teams. However, if they want to get through, I guess, on the easier road, well, this is the way to do it. We'll be having, a quarterfinal, a semifinal, and a winners final matchup, all of which will be best of 5s. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should be. Best of 5 is kind of the classic format, so pardon me, I'm pretty excited to sort of see how these teams go. We've been running best of 5s already through the group stage, but a few of these names we haven't seen as much. I don't think we've seen Romper Stompers or XVA, who are going to be our first 2 teams playing, but we have seen a lot of teams on stream, so I might be mistaking that. But would we like to run through a couple of all of our amazing sponsors before we get too much more into our bracket?
Absolutely. I am happy to talk about the sponsors for this event, starting in alphabetical order today. We're gonna mix it up. We're gonna start off with AOC. They are our monitor sponsor for this event. They provide some of the best monitors that can suit any sort of need that you have, be it something in the workplace, be it something at home. Hey, you want to watch that Squid Game show that everyone's talking about in the highest of definition? Well, AOC would have you back right there, especially if you then want to go use same monitor for your gaming. It's pixel perfect. It's great. Those little minute details, they matter, particularly in some games. Rocket League, hey, you know what? I learned recently, if you have a monitor that things are a little blurry, you forget whose car is on what team, and bad things happen. So by all means, do go check out AOC. Next, of course, again, alphabetically. You can hear it in my voice. I'm parched at the moment. I've been doing a lot of work. I'm very, very thirsty, and although I didn't have time to get one right now, I really do wish I did. A Chatime would be so perfect. Again, Chatime is our sort of a big, I want to call them our tea sponsor for our event, but they are sort of one of the more major sponsors
partner, I think.
Here.
Presenting partner. In the lower third, it does say Bubble Tea Partner, which is a kind of cool name, but they are also our presenting partner, I believe.
Absolutely. And a big thank you to them as well. They have some new deals right now, some contests. So do go check them out. Some new flavors as well, just to go with one of like over 140 breweries or something ridiculous like that across the country. They have so many different ways you can combine and mix their flavors. I always talk about how I'm a grapefruit fan. Personally, I always go for the grapefruit tea, no sugar, because I like it, that little bitterness, which they always get through. And then I fell in love with the strawberry poppin' pearls. I actually have I never used to be big on the pearls. Chatime has convinced me to go the other way, so definitely a big thank you to Chatime. You got the drink, and conveniently as well, when we're doing the whole alphabetical thing, what comes next is the meal you have with it, and that is Indomie, our noodle sponsor for this event. They have over 14 products out there, all with the finest ingredients from the wonderful country of Indonesia, coming pretty much straight over here to Australia. And you can taste that freshness with every single one of their products. I mean, we've all had McGoring. That's all well and good. Do you want to know what I tried recently, Fetch?
Ooh, I do.
The chips, like the crisps,
oh, yes,
or whatever you want to call them.
This is genius.
They are really, really good. I was like, oh my goodness, it's the same like McGoring flavor, but I don't have to wait 5 minutes for it to be made. I can just have it right now. It was fantastic. So by all means, do go check out Indomie and what they have to offer. Then following that, of course, it is Predator. Some of the best gaming laptops out there on the market. These laptops, they do come with some serious hardware. I know I do have one myself. It pretty much runs anything that I want it to. You can just put it in. It will go almost like straight out of the box. And for a laptop, if you want to game and if you want to have those capabilities. I mean, I even started streaming on the thing, and I was able to stream fine for a good long while. I'm sorry, Predator. I am on a tower now because we were able to, build up since then, and I got a giant new system right now, but I still keep that laptop, with me. It is my portable. It's my to-go esports hub. So a big thank you to Predator. And if that sounds interesting to you, by all means, go check out one of their laptops. And last but not least, it's all about that audio quality. It's all about RIG. They are fantastic in that regards. Again, It doesn't necessarily need to be for gaming. It'd be for any use, but if you want crisp sound quality, you need a headset that can match it. RIG's got your back with that, so check them out and all of their wonderful products as well.
See, going back to the Indomie point, I love Rig headsets, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I have about 3 sets of headsets right here, and yeah, getting a chance to use the Rig ones, I was kind of like, oh, do I need a 4th set? Maybe? But yeah, going back to the point about Indomie, did you know that the time it takes you to cook mee goreng, you could play an entire Rocket League game? Because this is fast-paced, quick action esports, and to be fair, both of those things are a pretty good use of your 5 minutes, but the chips are brilliant. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, no, the chips are lovely.
Yeah.
The thing is, it always takes me a little bit longer than 5 minutes. This is probably going to spoiler territory. I've talked about this on streams in the past as well. I always like to get myself a steak, and I'm not I'll say it. It's a cheaper steak, one of the Aldi specials, and I always like to get one of those, lather it in butter so like it gets really, really juicy, and then dice it up after cooking it, obviously, and mix that in with the mee goreng as well, and it is really good. When you cook the mee goreng in a bit of a steak broth as well as like the water broth, it's actually it's nice. It's a good time.
It is good. That is like a good combination, and that's the thing which we love about Indomie. And a few of our, also we're talking about a bit with Chatime, is the fact that you can do so much with it. It's like 14 products, and people like for only 14 flavors, and then it's like the things people do with them. It's just room for infinite creativity. And I always enjoy seeing what people come up with those sort of things, because I always like more suggestions, and I mean, you've given me a lot. Yeah, the pearls in Chatime actually was something which I had never tried. I was always like, that kind of seems weird to me, but you're right. Chatime, they kind of nail it. We are going to move on to our next game, which is our first game of the week. We're going to have, as we mentioned before, a series of best of 5s. That's our schedule. That's how we do our finals brackets. There's gonna be 3 games today. We're gonna be doing. We're gonna be focusing on the upper bracket for now. Of course, it's double elimination. You can see the bracket up on your screen. It's and then the first match we're gonna be having is UVA versus Romper Stomper. XV. UV is the obvious thing to call it, but no, XVA up against Romper Stomper. You can see that there. We haven't seen too much of these teams, I don't believe, but we're kind of excited because they clearly did well in their group stage.
Yeah, and the thing as well, XV is like kind of a team that's come in with 2 teams, and both of which have made it to this this double elim knockout stage, I should say. XVB, the number 1 seed right now. Rompa Stompas, well, they're the number 2 seed. So if XVA wants to help out the apparently official B team that's the number 1 seed, hey, they can get a bit of an upset win right here. Of course, the other teams that have qualified are Curtin University. They're going up against XVB. Sylvia is going up against Vanguard. We have Rompa Stompers versus XVA right here. And of course, taking on the Iconic 3. I love the Iconic 3's name. Haven't had a chance to see them on stream yet, but I can't help but shout out that name. That name is beautiful.
It is. It's good. I'm sad that I just took a quick glance over the names to make sure. I was like, yeah, I know generally what's going on. And I didn't. I misread the Iconic. That's great. That's so good. But yeah, I think that for now, it's just going to be a matter of time before we get those teams in, get them ready to go, and hit the big red play button. We don't really have a big red play button in Rocket League. There should be, yeah.
It should be.
I reckon.
It should be physical. When you download the game, Epic sends you a go live button that you can just sort of mount on your desk, and whenever you want to play the game, you just slam that thing. Puts you right into a lobby. Good times. That would be horribly cost inefficient, but I'd enjoy it.
It's like the I'm feeling lucky feature in Google, except you don't know whether you're gonna get a casual game or a ranked game. You might get you might be half asleep and you get thrown into a ranked game and you're like, oh no. Why did this happen?
Or you could be, on that hot streak, 5 wins in a row, and all of a sudden, guess what? It's Rumble time.
That'd be great if if there's just a random chance to get thrown into a Rumble game. Still counts for your ranked score, but there's just a 1.
Oh no.
Yes, no, that'd be brilliant. I'd be so into that. I reckon we need more Rumble tournaments. I hate the game mode, but I enjoy watching people struggle, especially in Rocket League. It makes me feel better. And I think Rumble is Rumble's peak. Rumble's the peak, the peak version of that in Rocket League. So I'd almost be down with that.
Aye. Someone has just revealed themselves to be a control Magic player. That's what I'm hearing right now. But we're ready to get into this. Actually, do you play much Magic the Gathering out of curiosity?
No, I really like trading card games, but I just can't get into them. I think they're super cool, though. I know a bit about them.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's all about. So I hope the control reference didn't go too over your head.
Yeah,
I hope someone out there.
It.
Okay, cool. And that only comes to mind recently. Yeah, I don't know. Picked up Magic again with friends, and we're like, oh, let's just do a casual, EDH game. This will be fun. And of course, there's that one person who just busts out the no one's allowed to play anything or do anything deck. Mm-hmm. Yeah, woohoo. Thanks, buddy. Went great. Love you, Jimmy, if you're watching. I know you're not. Anyways, I do think we're going to be getting ready to go soon. The players do look like they have joined, so I will give that, hey, go when ready. Sort of key to them. Oh, I have my chat off. I forgot about that. Sorry, give us one more moment. If you're wondering why there's a delay and why we're stalling, it's actually all my fault, so...
Well, I appreciate that you took that one, and also the responsibility of marshalling the players from me, because that was very very kind of you. Also, my hair is very messed. I'm really sad. One of the worst things in broadcast, and people, you won't see it as easily because you're kind of managing other things. But for those of you who are watching, oh, never mind, we're in game. I can't complain about my bad hair day. Let's just
go.
You can. Okay, I can.
I want to hear about the bad hair day.
Okay, my hair looked great, so I was gonna have it out, which I normally don't do on broadcast. And today in particular, I put my headphones on, and it was like, ha, nope. And so it looked really awkward with my headphones on. I tried to adjust it beforehand while we were prepping before game and spoiling Squid Game for everyone while I Minecraft. But yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. I'm sure the people of Riverina are forgiving and wonderful and gonna give us some fantastic Rocket League.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for as well. As we are onto the pitch for the Romper Stompers, it is Indy, J Cool, and Pengu. Pengu is actually a name I recognize and has that, Season 4, that is the big, GC tournament winner, I do believe. So definitely it's going to be a player to look out for. Meanwhile, for XVA, the YOLO brothers, Junk and Spotto. A couple GCs on this team as well. So we are going to be expecting some higher quality Rocket League so far. Not disappointing. Not a lot of unforced errors. Mostly intelligent touches. So we saw Indy kind of down it in the middle of the pitch right there. But outside of that, yeah, both these teams pretty equal pace. This is the makings of a good series.
Yeah, they kind of just looked into this rhythm, and actually it's Spotto who straight up finds that score. Does take a couple of minutes, but it is that kind of back and forth tempo give and take, plays it off that corner. We talk a lot on AEL streams about playing it off the backboard. Maybe that's not quite the same, but Spotto finds a great opening in the defensive line.
Yeah, that's going to be a good opening goal for Team XVA. Hopefully something to build off of. I'm a little bit surprised that was the team that did find the first goal, just because a lot of the pressure has been coming from the Rompa-Stompas, who have been playing a lot tighter, I would say, when going for the challenges than their opponents at this stage. Case in point, you kind of see J Cool just going for a really high-risk challenge in that situation, but they haven't had the follow-up after those touches, whereas when I'm watching this orange side, they're much more spread out, and I think a lot more controlled with what they're trying to do. YOLO brothers right here just somehow turned this one around and into a goal.
Yeah, and was also off, like, kind of tackling the player as well, to kind of keeping them out, shepherding that play, sort of in a 1v2 as well, which is pretty impressive to like, spin that one around and get the goal. I thought the save was there. I actually really thought that Romper Stompers were going to get away with that one and possibly turn it around, because I have liked kind of some of their touches, but yeah, a bit more space, a bit more kind of things like that, maybe. Right at the moment, though, it is XVA straight back on the attack. I don't know what you picked
I like
up
that.
there.
I actually really like that setup. It didn't work. I like that bump as well. J Cool this time's going to come through for the save. But this attack right now is kind of emphasizing a lot of what I mean on why it's XVA who is kind of impressing me a bit more right now. They recognized the double commit, and instead of trying to force the 1v1, they actually went for a corner pass to draw the third defender out of the box and hope for the open net situation. Now, Pengu, in that spot, actually stepped up quite huge and then won that ensuing challenge just to make sure it wouldn't become that open net situation. But the immediate response was to try and bump out the player who was going to be able to make that rotate at that last moment. So what I'm seeing already is XVA, they're reacting to the defense that is being shown to them, and then they're proactively kind of accounting for what they're most likely going to be able to do. Another big demo, shutting down the pass right before it can happen. XVA just seems to be thinking one step ahead at this stage, and it's super fascinating to watch.
And that's sort of the game sense we talk about. Sometimes it's something that sort of comes with experience in this game and is a mark of skill. J Cool goes up, tries to get a waterfall. Ooh. Is there an extra player? Pengu has to put it down. It's a bit of an awkward angle, goes off the backboard, and Ind gets it. And that, okay, we talked about game sense, we talked about awareness, but that was just a fantastic setup and like structured pass play.
It's a bit of a shame that J. Cool doesn't get any official credit for that one because they did most of the work. They were the one able to dribble it across the field. They found that perfect waterfall setup. They made 3 defenders miss. And then when it came down to panic mechanics, all what, the rest of the team had to do was stay J. Cool. And eventually that goal would find their way. Pengu got that backboard pass to Indy. Really well done. And I feel like that could be how this game goes. I think we're going to be looking at an XVA side that's going to be a lot more team-oriented, but might make a couple mistakes like we see right there from YOLO Brothers, versus what could be a more mechy team, but a more individualistic, strong-sided team in that of Rampa. It could lead to an interesting series as J. Cool does tie us up with 100 seconds left.
And I was a bit worried that, when you see coordination and game sense identifying what your opponent does, it gives room for adaptation, and if you are already in the lead, I will be honest, I was a bit worried XVA were going to take the series away, but you're right, Romper Stomper step up. If it is the mechanics which they're going to win through, they certainly know how to do it, and I kind of like that styles clash. Personally, as YOLO Brothers wants to set something else up, tries to play it through the corner. A couple of these players in the same space, not too much should come for this one, as we see just another demo, sort of almost to buy the rotations, and immediately answered back by their opponents.
It is the classic styles clash, though, I feel like, when it comes to a lot of Rocket League. And at the moment, when you take a look at the top level, specifically in Oceania, I would say that the team play, the smarter team, that has typically been finding the wins out more recently than not. However, usually the exact winning combo is when you get bits of both, where you have a team that works really well synergistically, but you have that one player who can be that X factor and just take a game over solo if push comes to shove. So I don't know who that necessarily might be on this orange side yet. When I look at this blue side, I've seen J. Cool do it. I do trust in Pengu as well. I feel like the X factors might be on the Rampa Stompas, and until I see someone kind of have one of those big plays on the opposite side, I might still be favoring the Rampa Stompas in this matchup.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they were behind at the earlier part of it, and I mean, but you're right, like displaying that individual skill is a big factor. Right at the moment, it's going to be YOLO Brothers back on defense. Going to try and play that one off to the side. Didn't work out. A couple of players back in defense, but they both swing and they both whiff. It means J. Cool has an opportunity, goes high on it. Indy doesn't quite put the ball away, but it was so close. It looks like we might have an overtime, but it all comes down to whether XV can try to make something happen of this. Baits out the commitment from Pengu, but the ball doesn't stay in the right position for very long. Jonk tries to keep it in the right sort of spot for them to keep the aggression going, and they might just ground it now to make sure there's no more counterattack from their opponents.
Game 1 overtime. What a way to start off our stream. What a way to start off our playoffs. Can't ask for things much better than this. And with the way how both these teams are kind of been playing, this could be a longer one, actually. Both teams have been consistent in keeping 2 defenders back for recent play. And when you're in overtime, that pressure situation, normally that trend will continue, although Jonk maybe pushed a bit too far forward right there. It will lead to an awkward clear, but they make it happen. Gets past 2 defenders. Pengu, that third member, sees the gap, sees the pass perhaps. Indy won't be able to grab it. Bit of a back and forth series at the moment. Pace does get slowed down. YOLO, though, might have found the clear, finds Spotto, but the shot's not quite accurate.
Again, identifying exactly what they had to do right there. XVA able to immediately turn the pressure on, had that player waiting in the middle field. YOLO tries to go for what could have been for game 1 winning 50-50. Doesn't quite work out for them, but right now XVA have kind of locked this attack in. They've really set up it very well, and allows Jonk just to force the ball over the line from a great pass up from the left corner.
When XVA doesn't make mistakes, when they are doing the basic of car hit ball at a consistent rate, their rotation play looks so clean. Their weaknesses have come from when they happen to miss the ball, but in that overtime, they got that flow going. It was contact, and because they're so spread out, but they have that game sense, it's so hard for Rampa to find any ground back, and eventually, well, it did accumulate into that goal. So really well done from the orange side. XVA, they take game number 1.
Yeah, and huge credit to them, because that was a good game, and we kind of talked about how Romper, they have the mechanics already, they had some of the coordination, a couple of slip-ups as it went, but yeah, just a really well-played game 1. I'm actually I know we say this a fair bit, but I'm really impressed with the level of skill we're coming out into this sort of a game. It is a regional series. It is players who aren't necessarily professional top players or anything, who've just kind of put together a team with their mates to say, hey, let's compete in the Riverina Cup, and it's a really good display of Rocket League so far.
And you know what gets me excited about these types of days and these types of events? In a few months' time, hopefully, and maybe even less, fingers crossed, these are going to start becoming, lands once again.
Yes!
You know what I mean? This isn't going to be a completely digital thing anymore. Soon we're going to be back in the lands. We're going to be, staring each other down. Was fortunate enough to be a part of a LAN recently. And that experience, I didn't realize how much I missed it till I was right back in the thick of it. You know what I mean? So I just am hoping that we get to see more LANs events like this, that the Riverina Cup will continue, and soon we get to do it in person because it will be fantastic.
Exactly. It'll be so good when these sort of events do return. It's Indy running straight across the field with the aerial dribble. Give a bit too much time to YOLO Brothers to be able to respond to that one, but they are going high. They are using their mechanics to pass off the backboard. Going to go straight down to XV, and they've got to play set up right away from themselves. They didn't get too much more of that. The tempo in this game is much faster, Formal, and so far it's doing pretty well for Romper Stompers, but it doesn't feel like this is a one-sided kind of control.
Well, the Rompa Stompas are kind of approaching this, it looks like, in a similar way how they kind of looked at that overtime, where they were content to do these long, drawn-out plays, just really try to bang it and kind of force the space that way by keeping this Orange team on their back foot. However, yeah, when it comes to XVA, they're not afraid to cheat someone forward, and it's just going to take one pass like this that might open up a doorway. Pengu did commit. Third member's behind the net is open, and the shot is good. Not surprised how that one played out. XVA, they're once again out in front.
They look so good. The players are rotating back in the right timing. Like you were saying, they're in the right spot consistently, and they look so good about it. To be fair, they did go a 1-up in that last series, so it's not kind of wow, what do the Romper Stompers do now? They've got the execution, they've got the coordination, and some phenomenal skills behind them. Pick up the rotations a little bit, and I kind of like what I'm seeing from them. Right at the moment, they've got to kind of win these 50-50s, which they've been doing pretty well. It's just been the important ones which have been dropping for them.
Yeah, it's been like the odd important one, and it's not as if like any of the 50s have not been important. It's just the way how I feel like XVA plays, where they only need to win 150, and suddenly that becomes the important one because they are, finding gaps, finding avenues to cheat players forward without disrupting their rotations on a consistent basis. It's as if they have a plan A and a plan B, whether or not they win that challenge. And I don't know, I'm just really loving the positioning. I'm really loving how they approach this game as we look at this pass forward. I would have liked to see a shot there because it did look like YOLO Brothers was in position for the demo that time around. So again, it's not been perfect, but that was still a very intelligent setup in and of itself.
And they can play a little bit slow because they have the 1-goal lead. It's not nearly enough to say you're in control of the series, but they don't have to feel too stressed right at the moment. Ball goes over to Indy. J. Cool gets a demo to Junk to try and disrupt some of that field positioning. And there was a lot of going back and forth there, but no one quite connected with the ball. A big opportunity, possibly. Actually, kind of almost for both sides, given the awkwardness of that play. Doesn't quite come to much as Indy's going to try and get this one off an awkward waterfall off to the side. It passes back. Where's that extra player? J. Cool just loses that 50 against Spotto.
Yeah, so what happened with that previous play, it looked like YOLO went for the fake and got the bump they were looking for, but faked out Spotto in the process. Had Spotto actually taken a shot in that situation, that net was open. And now that's been a couple of times where we've seen some open nets, and I almost feel like XVA has gotten a little too tricky with their setups because they're finding their openings, they're finding the gaps. They just haven't been able to always cleanly execute when it comes time to put that shot on target. And the end result has been a blue side still in this game. Indy, we talked about the individual performances on the Rompa Stompas. This is why.
Yeah, this is so clean. That angle is incredibly tight. Had to be that Junk. That was a 1v2 back-to-back 1v1s to get that, and then also find that awkward angle. Especially into a team like Romper Stompers who have the positions and the rotations, you're going to have to force a big play like that. You can't afford to kind of play a slow positioning movement. YOLO Brothers wants that one back immediately. Doesn't quite get it. Just gets sweeped out by Pengu. That's a very structured defense from Romper Stompers if they can get this ball back.
Oh, do we get a second overtime in a row? I kind of feel like we're heading in that direction as that ball rolls towards a very open net, but won't be centered this time around. YOLO, though, awkward read off the ceiling, is able to recover it. Very fortunate that one didn't go challenged. However, when the ball winds up in Pengu's waiting embrace, they are able to get that offensive pressure moving forward. Still a minute 5 remaining on the clock. Tie ball game yet again in these dying moments. And that's going to be a lead as Pengu does find the pass, and it's 2-1 in favor of the Rompa Stompers.
Yeah, J. Cool bouncing this one off the corner underneath the players, having every angle they need to, and it's... You nailed it in the first game. The individual mechanical skill, the ability to make outplays and set up for your teammates. Like, it's not like this team is 1v3ing constantly, but they're able to out mechanics their opponents and outmaneuver their opponents in the individual plays to set up space for their teammates to connect the passing plays. And it's so cool to see that sort of stuff works so efficiently. And definitely XVA have answers, they've shown that, but they are now facing a comeback into this one. Just take it to an overtime. 36 seconds, plenty of time for them to do it, especially as they're on the attack right now.
Ooh, I like that backboard pass, but Indy had it read from the word go. And now as we go the other way, Pengu, a chance to put game 2 away, will be stopped by Spotto just on that goal line. I'm thinking it's more and more likely Rompa-Stompas are going to take this one. Now that they're on the attack, it would have to take a big effort to go back the other way. Of course, as you say, the gap was found to bring it back. Jonk has a demo underneath from YOLO. The shot from Spotto's in. And with 8 seconds remaining, we have a tie ball game.
Ah, that's so good. And it was the big play. Jonk just steals it. Spotto slams it in. And again, it came down to the contest. This time, it was straight up just taking the ball off your opponent. They got an awkward touch and weren't quite able to move it around, but XVA find that. 8 seconds on the clock. It's a kickoff goal or bust for these teams. I mean, right now, XVA in a dangerous position. They might get it. It slides over anyway. Spotto got it off the individual play with a setup from Jonk. This series is wild. What?
What a pre-jump from Spotto right there. That is a high-risk, high-reward situation, and that was the X factor I felt like XVA was missing in Game 1. It comes through in spades in Game number 2. They are now on match point. Spotto, yeah, deserves MVP for that one. A hat trick as well, in case you weren't keeping count. All 3 goals and that dunk to put them ahead. My goodness, XVA, they're looking in complete control.
Oh my god, they are looking so incredibly fantastic. Every time I think Rompa's just found another gear, they've sort of figured out what they have to do to break the XVA line or whatever it is. XVA have yet another answer and yet another adaptation, and right at the moment, that play, that huge risk play you just talked about from Spotto, that actually put them at match point. That was so clutch, and again, the point about game sense, which we were kind of making earlier, it doesn't just come to understanding where the ball is going to be, how it's going to bounce, those kind of natural instinct things. It's also about the decision making, right? It's about knowing that, hey, if I pull this play off, we just win this game. We go straight to match point, and we have such an easy, cruisy time against this team. And it's obviously these games could go either way, right? We've seen almost 2 overtimes now, I should say. Sorry.
Yep.
That, it is still anyone's game, but, Rompa-Stompas are up against it. 3 in a row in games which have been this close is so hard.
Well, an opening goal would have helped had Pengu been able to get that one underneath the crossbar. And the opening was there, but the execution not quite. And that's the first little sort of misstep I feel like we've seen from the blue side in terms of their attack. That's a worrying sign. Granted, I'm sure Pengu's going to get another chance. In fact, we see another shot this time, though. Jonk was back there able to find that save. It is looking like Pengu, who had been playing more third man in games 1 and 2, is now looking to play a bit more forward. Mechanically, I think they have been the strongest player on the team outside of maybe Indy. This is going to be their chance to prove it. Why not? Game on the line. You have to kind of come up now. I just worry it might be a little too late.
It might be, but I mean, restructuring a team, it's very important right at the moment. The number of times you see Rocket League teams, the pass of Indy was almost fantastic. Doesn't quite work through, though. The shot was good, and the pressure has been coming through so far for Rompa-Stompas. But yeah, if you are 2-0 down, you need to change the way things are going. That was almost a fantastic effort. The demo as well, the awareness onto Spotto. Great defense from Rompa-Stompas, but great attack from XV as well.
Yeah, this looks good, though. YOLO, a chance. The pass was good. The shot was better. A great redirect right to the middle of the net, and at 104 kilometers per hour, no way those 2 goalkeepers were able to make the save.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Great setup, great pass from XVA. That sort of, setup structured passing play hasn't been as much what we've been seeing. It feels like it's a bit more from the side of Rompa, they set up a really big mechanical play, but a kickoff goal for Indy. God, that feels good in a series like this.
Oh, that's a bit of an oops, actually, coming, I want to say, from XVA. Just YOLO. No chance to read that one, and Yonk, they didn't really fall back on defense. They were moving up along the side of the field thinking that they had that kickoff won, and as a result, you get a wide open net. That's something that I think every team in this sort of league is going to try to capitalize on now. Tie ball game once more. We haven't had anyone go 1-1 till the end. It's kind of been 2-2 each time, and, well, Indy almost was able to get that late lead. Doesn't find it on the first attempt. Pengu's going to try to follow this one through. Spotto clears it out in the corner. Still a lot of time left in game number 3. And despite that kickoff goal equalizing things, XVA, they're the team that looked more comfortable. Indy with the dunk almost takes the lead.
It was getting a bit chaotic, and it looked like Rumpa Stompers were able to do a really good job of capitalizing on that chaos as Pengu flies up high and managed to spike that one down off the setup from J. Cool. And it was actually completely controlled. I wasn't sure if that was like a 100% set pass, and it was. It was a very, very clever play there coming in from the 1-2. And it puts them in the lead. Like, obviously, that's the big important thing. It's not close to a match point. They've still got so much work to get back up. But if they can set up things like that, if they play chaos, that might be the answer for Rumpa.
Yeah, that could be the answer for sure. Hopefully, for the side of Rumpa, they're thinking we have to at least get this first game back. We don't want to get clean swept down to that loser's bracket, where things will become a lot more difficult. Winning it, though, we already have who we know is advancing. Yeah, right was able to beat Iconic. I'm sorry to say Iconic fans out there, but yeah, right, well, that's who you're losing to is Yeah, right, who's moving on. Winner of this match will be able to take them on, and although XVA is one game away from earning that right, well, now they've tied things up. They're getting one step closer as well.
They are. They're just pulling themselves back in it. And again, this is why it's so hard for Rumpa, because every time they think they have an answer, there's something from XVA. And this one was a beautiful backboard pass by YOLO Brothers. I mean, Rumpa maybe had time to get in position there, but that backboard pass is so hard to sort of pick up on. You have to defend against the shot itself. You have to commit one defender to that. You have to look for other potentials, like even individual plays or passing plays off to the side. So covering all of those options can be quite difficult, especially for some of these teams who don't have that sort of professional experience. But it was a very good play to identify for XVA to put them back in a tight game.
As we do watch YOLO Brothers look to play through the corner. Indy, though, will play that box. And Pengu collects on the pass. There we go. Some defensive passes. That's something that's been lacking, actually, from the Rumpa Stompers side. I like seeing that. I didn't like seeing all three attackers clump up in the same corner. So a little bit awkward right there. Yonk versus Pengu each go up, but it is going to be YOLO who comes down with it. Still a minute 54 on the clock. Getting closer and closer to a golden goal situation. Spotto fakes the shot. Defense has the read, and Yonk was a bit too close. Might be able to try again. Underneath makes the defenders miss as both Indy and Pengu do rotate back. Pengu can't corral it. YOLO steps forward, but Indy finds that gap to get the ball back to the middle of the pitch, and Yonk just straight up misses.
It's alright. Spotto had the backup. Spotto had the backup, but is going to carry it straight across the field into space, but is in a bit of an awkward position to try and pick it up again, so YOLO is going to be after one to do it. J. Cool has an opportunity, actually tries to get the pass off. That could have been very quick and very aggressive. Junk gets demoed. The attack might slow down a little bit as long as Indy can find a decent clear onto that, which should be pretty comfortable doing. Maybe not. Junk just spoils that quite nicely. It's going to
off the backboard.
Down. It's so close. The fence is just there. J. Cool with a fantastic effort to keep this game alive.
J. Cool with a game-saving, save right there. I want to say that was a match-saving effort, but they're not out of the danger just yet. Spotto stayed cheated, looks for the deep redirect, but isn't going to find it. Pengu wanted to capitalize going back up the other way, was a bit behind the ball as we lob it again across that middle of the pitch. J. Cool doesn't have the read. YOLO fakes it, but how did they get behind it? Pengu with a massive save again is keeping the Rumpa Stompers alive.
And they did that straight off that giant commitment on the play. They went for an all-or-nothing play, failed it, still got back. Great defensive rotation from the side of Pengu right at the moment as three players rushing the ball down the side. Does end up going in the favor of Pengu. There's not a lot of defenders back. They have time to rotate now, but the ball's going to waterfall. What sort of pass setup? What sort of backboard? What sort of third man play can you look at? J. Cool just puts it close, but it doesn't. It does get cleared out. 14 seconds left for him. I think we might have an overtime, but Spotto wants to put it away. Just kind of whiffs it. That was a bit unfortunate, but you know what? You know what? They're just throwing the gauntlet down. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to be the case as well as Yonk steals the ball away from J. Cool. Pengu kept it alive, and that might come back to hurt them because YOLO Brothers banks it to the blue side of the pitch. Spotto might have a read on this, gets the shot, but it will hit the ground. We go to our second overtime of the series. Golden goal situation. XVA, put that ball in the net. You go to the winner's semifinal.
That's it. One goal. That's all you need right at the moment.
And the net is there!
And it's open! Spotto finds it as well. Spotto was the one to clear this series out, and it ends up being a 3-0 to XVA. We did not expect that at all. I don't know if you can call it an upset particularly, but because these teams are so closely matched, but a fantastic effort from our team in the orange.
I always feel bad when a series like this happens to go 3-0 because Rumpa was strong, and they were so evenly matched. Like, I feel like we can make this a best of 5 or a best of 7. This was a best of 5, like another best of 5, and it could go 3-0 the other way, or a best of 7, and Rampa will start to come back. It was that tight. However, Spotto was the player who did step up, I feel like. Granted, in that third game, I think the reason why XVA did look a little bit better overall than necessarily in game 2 was because there was less unforced errors out of YOLO and Yonk. But Spotto was consistent throughout. Spotto is the one who gets that overtime goal. I'd be remiss not to call them the MVP of the series.
Absolutely. There was so much good work done from them in particular. I think that you're right to single them out. In those particular games, there has been, a lot of other players who stepped up. It was good seeing the back and forth there, and the fact that it came down to a 3-goal difference across all 3 games. Not a single game had a 2-goal lead at the end of, at the end of the full results, you know what I mean, at the end of the overtime, regulation time. And that's incredible between these two teams.
I mean, it was 2 overtimes and like, what, a 8-second goal at the end in game number 2?
Exactly.
It doesn't get much better than that. So if you are just tuning in now, or this is your first time, this is just our winners quarterfinal. We still have a winners semifinal up next. I can tell you Sylvia will be in that matchup. Sylvia got the win over Vanguard, but we're still waiting for the results of Curtin Uni versus XVB in order to find out who that other matchup will be.
And we might be seeing the upper bracket final be XV versus XV. But yeah, that bracket up there, so that will be our next match, Sylvia versus the winner of Curtin and XV official. You see the update, the results largely updated. Romper Stompers are going to go up against the Iconic, and that'll be an interesting one to watch, because the Iconic have got the name. We kind of liked, we liked their style, but Romper Stompers obviously a very interesting team to watch. But today is going to be all about the upper bracket. We're going to have a couple more upper bracket games. It's going to be this next game. So, Sylvia versus the winner of the first of the game labeled number 1 up in the diagram. And then we're going to be having upper bracket finals. But we are going to have to go to a break before that. We don't know exactly how long it'll be. It'll depend on the games. But please stick with us. If the stream does drop out, I apologize. We might have to fix some technical issues. But please stick with us. Same place, same channel. You know all that deal. We'll see you soon. And welcome back. We are into our second series. We're about to start our second series, I should say. I got a little bit ahead of myself in that one. Our second series of the day for the AEL Riverina Cup, brought to you by the city of Wollongong. My name is still Fetch. This is still formal casting. And here's a bit more about the information about bracket. Now it's shaped out a little bit more. We're going to be seeing this game in particular. It's going to be our upper bracket round 2. The top match there, which is Curtin versus Sylvia.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Both these teams got through that quarterfinal with the 3-1 scoreline, so not perfect by any stretch from either side. However, what's even more fascinating to me, it's the number 8 seed versus the number 4 seed. So apparently our number 8 seed, Curtin University, actually got the win over the number 1 seed, XVB. A bit of a shocker right there, I can imagine, and I'll be curious to see if Curtin Uni can kind of keep that upset momentum moving forwards against the Sylvia side. I mean, they're the number 4 team. They got through quite comfortably against Vanguard. They did drop one game. I don't know. This one feels a little coin flippy to me, and that's realistically the best kind of Rocket League.
I agree. I was kind of a bit similar to our last series where you didn't know who was going to win. This time should be a similar deal. Curtin versus Sylvia. I'm very excited, personally. I think this should be a good match. And I believe our players are in the lobby and pretty much ready to go straight away.
Yeah, I think we are going to be jumping over to that pitch right about now. I can see them jumping on in. For the Curtin side, we have Cadney, Drip, and Mozzie. For Silva, it's going to be Dan, Jads, as well as Manon. Again, all pretty much GCs up and down the board once again. The level of play this year compared to last year has risen so much in this event. It's been fantastic to see, and I'm curious who's going to come out on top of this semifinal.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a very interesting question. I mean, again, you know, it's double elimination. They still have a chance, even if they lose here. But if you do win, you go straight through that upper bracket final, like you mentioned, and it should be a much easier road through there into the grand finals. Dan just puts it straight on target, pings it across the field off the crossbar.
There was power behind this shot right here out of Dan. I'm a little disappointed that it hit that crossbar, so we couldn't see how hard exactly it was hit. 85 kilometers per hour was the recorded speed, but an absolute strike out of Dan to go ahead and put Sylvia out in front.
Yeah, big one indeed. And I like the little flick pass from Manon as well to set that one up right immediately straight away. Sylvia is going to be back on the attack. Dan tries to put a bit of pressure on Jads. Trying to clear this one out, and actually now they're back on the defense. We hadn't seen them as much there, but it's going to be Curtin's opportunity to try and find that opening. They can play it off the backboard quite nicely. Dan doesn't quite get the touch they might have liked. And now it's going to be straight back on the defense, back and forth. Jazz is going to try and set up a big play off the top, but no one really there to play that third, that second player to kind of get that pass or get that cross.
Yeah, as we do have the bit and back and forth action happening right now. Drip with the chance, though, gets it over the top of Manon, and we have ourselves a tie ball game. I'm loving how strong both these teams are in terms of their shooting, able to put the ball exactly where it needs to be. It's a good sign for an exciting series moving forwards.
Yeah, keen opportunism without the tendency to overcommit at least too much so far. Have seen that a couple of times, but it's not like they're throwing 3 players down the field every single given opportunity. Although that is kind of fun to watch, to be fair. I also appreciate that whoever scored that last goal had a blank profile picture and a generic red background. That style.
Oh!
Cadeney, my apologies. Cadeney, the team captain even, pulling this one off in such fantastic style. That double touch was from across the other side of the field. Jeez.
And I mean, faking out defenders in the process as well. Curtin University, they are very much here to play, and where was this team in the AEL Uni League? That's what I'm going to be asking after that goal right there. Great individual effort. That's that X factor I always love talking about. It's coming from the Curtin Uni side right now. Pressure put back on Sylvia to see how they will respond.
Yeah, and after a stylish play like that, you kind of want to answer with something big, but Dan just plays off the backboard. There's Jads. Tried to get the touch as well, tried to make something kind of happen off the pass play off the backboard. Manon's going to try and pull it forward a little bit too slow, gets dispossessed by Cadeney. Was going to look for another one, it seems like, but Jads takes up in the air. Mozzie's going to grab it on that early first touch, but ball slows down the defensive line. It allows enough time for Drip to be able to pick that one up. Maybe an opportunity given the slow play for another one, but Cadeney goes for the big aerial dribble, drops it down low, baits out one of the defenders, and just watches it over the line.
And that's going to make it a 3-1 lead right now. It's Cadeney just able to drive that one all the way through. Actually was going for a reset at the end as we take a closer look at that replay. Could have been a bit fancy had they been able to put that one out. And It's hard to really break down the team tendencies right now, Fetch, just because both of these sides have been, well, scoring quite quickly. Like, the big thing I'm noticing is that defensively, well, they're both struggling when the ball gets on that backboard, when the opponents get right in their face. Another goal off this kickoff kind of highlighting that. I worry that at this stage, the faster team quite obviously has been that Curtin side, and if they keep up this tempo, they might run away with this series. We know Sylvia can strike when given the opportunity. They just haven't been able to force it yet.
Yeah, that's it. It's like both teams looking for that big offensive attacking play, and it's just sort of seems like it's Curtin who've been the ones to, make those plays happen a bit better for themselves. Right at the moment, they are getting counterattacked on massively by Sylvia. If they, find a passing play, find a setup, find the commitment from two players, they might be able to get it, but it just ends up being Cadeney again who picks that one up out of the air. Drip tries to pass it back off the side, but it doesn't work out too well for them. Jads, again, tries to go for something, but doesn't quite work out. Drip gets the touch off the backboard. This might have been a bit awkward, but again, there's not many players there. It's Cadeney who does pick it up, but at least there was time for the defense to reset their positioning.
Yeah, they reset themselves, and this has been the best defensive effort we've seen so far, and we finally get a look at what Sylvia wants to do on defense, and it's very, very spread. I think that's the big thing that I'm noticing right now. I mean, we're talking half the pitch levels of spread, which typically means the team wants to have a more increased tempo. They want more bangers, more sort of drawn-out plays across that entire field, and we're not really getting that, though. It's still kind of weaker touches. It's still almost solo efforts when they were trying to push it back across the middle of the pitch. And while that's all well and good, if that's the approach that they want to take, I'd like to see them tighten up that defense a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair statement to make. But even possibly finding some of those bigger connecting cross-field pass plays as well. But you're right, the defense is going to be a big step. Jads tries to get a passing connection, but it doesn't get to it fast enough as Mozzie's going to be there for the intercept. Dan tries to put that one at least a little bit better position for the clear, and actually does so well. Jads gets that shot early, but it didn't quite have the speed to beat out the defender. Cadeney goes up high once again, has a couple of passing opportunities. Drips the one who picks it up, gets it straight back to Cadeney, off the backboard maybe, but Manon tries to deflect that one at least long enough for Jazzy to get that squishy clear, I suppose it was. Yep. It wasn't really a save, wasn't really going into the goals, but Cadeney just
still was nice
once again. It was very nice.
It still was clean, so I'll call it a squishy save just for the sake of it, being a squishy play. Speaking of plays, okay, well, the reset leads to both the player in front and behind the ball flipping into nothing. That's going to be a bit of pressure now coming from the Curtin side. Although, really, the name for them is just, let's stay relevant. Let's keep that ball on the orange side of the pitch. Let's kill time. 30 seconds to go, a 3-goal differential. I believe Curtin, with that kind of last flurry of attack right here, has secured themselves game number 1.
Yeah, 20 seconds, you don't get 3 goals back, especially in a game where Curtin looking this good. A couple of demos just to try and open that defense up a little bit, but not too much more there. Opportunity, ball goes up high again. Demo and pick up there from Jads, but they didn't quite put the ball in the spot they might have liked. 3 seconds left, ball's gonna be grounded. Game 1 is gonna go to Curtin, and they sort of managed to dissect the strategy from Sylvia pretty well, and sort of have the answers for it. Admittedly, more of those were slip ups from Sylvia, but yeah, Curtin looking really strong in that first game.
Yeah, Curtin, a very dominant performance in game number 1 right here. They gave up that opening goal, but then were just able to bounce back with a flurry of offense, and a lot of it came whenever they got that ball kind of jammed up either in front of the backboard, like just above the goal, or sometimes when they were able to dribble the ball from midfield and go for insane long-distance solo plays as, a little bit of a delay happening right now. Hopefully we'll be able to get back into this game soon as players are doing the little bit of the dance. You don't need to do the lobby dance anymore. It's not required. That bug has been fixed. Just let them know.
Mm-hmm.
Although it looks like I saw 3 members.
Yeah, if there are 6 people in the lobby, yeah, it doesn't matter. Maybe they were doing it for fun, formal. Don't ruin their dance. They were so happy and so excited doing that, yeah. But it's okay. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is we're in the game, and right now Curtin have that 1 game advantage.
Yeah, I just don't think that was a situation where our good friends on the orange side of Sylvia were aware that you don't need to do the dance anymore. It's that patch has come through, and it is still, I think, the greatest patch in Rocket League history. The number 1 patch. Up
there, absolutely up there. People undervalue quality of life changes, and actually that was a good flurry of offense from the side of Sylvia, but they don't quite get anything else off it. Now it's going to be Mozzie the ball off the backboard, but no one there really to help play with that and really help set something up. Drip is gonna just sort of keep the attack going for a little bit longer, but isn't making much in the way of headway. It's sort of stuck in that corner. Dan's gonna try and get a clearance out. It's gonna be Mozzie who picks it up and intercepts it, and again picks back up on the attack, but not too much momentum. If this one goes across the goals, it could be a little bit dangerous. The player's waiting for it. Cadeney not gonna find it. Dan goes down, but should respawn before too much more play happens.
As we do see a nice pass across that middle of the pitch, almost opening up that doorway. This one doesn't quite go through just yet, but Jad's still going to be putting that attacking pressure on. A swing and a miss from Dan. Jad's touch as well stolen off them. This is the longest exchange I feel like we've had without a goal right now, as Drip gets a nice late dribble over the top of one defender. Won't be able to find that second, but Cadney's already there. Drip kind of ducking, diving, and weaving through traffic. Won't be able to collect on that pass. I like how we're starting to see more cheats forward, though, coming from the curtain side. They are trying to find those chances, and maybe they'll get it right here. Cadney has one double touch, looking for a second. No! Can't quite corral it at the last moment.
Drip has an opportunity possibly to kind of save this one, though. Jad's almost won that 50. It could have been a very, very dangerous situation. Still scoreless in this game, as Drip's going to pick it up. Pass it off to Cadeney very gently. Not much momentum kind of comes in that one. And Dan actually shepherds out too. Pulls the play, but no one there to pick it up. Jads tries to keep a punish on the defense while it's awkward. The goal is relatively open, and Manon finds it. Chaotic play, but it works out for Sylvia.
Second game in a row, Sylvia's the team that strikes first right now. This one took a bit longer, but the pass back from Jads was the exact distance off the backboard that Sylvia needed to turn that one into a goal. And I love it when teams recognize, yes, we have a better chance if the ball isn't on that backboard, if we can actually force that gap and have trust that our strikers will get to the ball first. Really, really well done on that goal right there. And now, well, it's going to be a chance. Also, I'm sorry, I apologize. It's not Sylvia who got that first. Yeah, it is Sylvia. I just confused myself. My brain just melted. My apologies.
For some reason, this series, I found it very hard to keep track of who's where. I don't know what it is. But it might be an opportunity for Dan. Didn't quite find the angle. Tries to set it up a little bit more, but it's going to be cleared out by Cadeney. Manon wants to play that midfield control. It's a 1v1 right now. If they can get off the backboard, it might be good, but they don't quite have the speed, and a double commit from the defense, but not enough of a punish from the attacking line of Sylvia. They're going to pick up the ball and try again if they can win this 50, but that opportunity that was there and was solid, it just wasn't quite something they could find a capitalization on.
I feel like we need to highlight how much better the Sylvia defense has been playing in the second game. And it's from tightening things up. They're still sticking with the sort of slower, more delicate touches, but they're playing a lot closer together. And that was something I was hoping to see at the middle of game number one. And like that play through the corner was the perfect example of that. You saw how close Jads and Manon were playing with each other. Was it double commit close? Not quite, but it was close enough that when you see that dribble challenge, they're going to be the faster team to the ball. And that was the adjustment that we wanted to see from this team. They've made that adjustment. Their defense looks so much better as a result. Best kind of Rocket League is adaptive Rocket League.
Absolutely, 100%. You know, that's always the things we want to see in these series. If you're not, if you're not adapting, if you're not making improvements, your opponent's just going to outrun you, even if you have a bit of a lead. Right there, Dan managed to pull that one out to the corner and keep Manon with that sort of priority on the ball. Mozzie's going to run it down the field, tries to flick it up high, jinx it a little bit high, but actually a great prediction coming through from the opponent. Jad's just keeping the ball active, trying to find some sort of opening on the attack. Manon pinches off the corner. It's going to go in front of the goals, but I don't think there's anyone there. Cadeney, I don't know if that was the touch you wanted, friend, but it's okay because Drip does pick up the 50 and allows the ball to go back into their attacking line.
Yeah, Drip just staying on that back foot. Gets another nice save on the goal line, but here comes Cadney, bouncing it over to Jads. Mozzie will make that read from the backboard. All this attacking pressure is good and all, but with how far forward Sylvia is playing, we just need one counter-attacking play, but we're not going to get it because Jads puts a dagger in game number 2 with the late lead.
I like it. I like it a lot. They weren't just playing kind of close, tight on the defense. They've kind of been able to find a better passing structure on the attack as well. In the past, there were situations where someone would have a run on the ball. In this first game specifically, there were, in that first game, I should say, there were times where they had the run on the ball. They'd have this great breakaway and one player still in the goal and the other player's like halfway line, and that doesn't score you goals. This team clearly seems to know how to play off each other, how to set up passes and things like that, so utilizing that metered aggression is quite good. Mozzie might try to make a solo play to keep the team in this. Not going to happen. And again, another breakaway from Sylvia. They might find this if Jads just keeps Drip busy. And they do, but the whiff comes through, but it might not matter. Jads, can you just force it over? It's fine. It's Manon. Manon comes through with the third player, says enough of this. I'm putting the ball over the line and we're taking the 3-0 lead.
Oh my goodness. Look, we were making jokes about Squid Game before and how tense that show is. Well, that was way more tense for me, and it's not even a go-ahead goal in that situation, just the anxiety-induced literal goal line defense. Eventually, Madden does put it in, and now Cadney actually has a chance to respond. Drip misses completely. I think Drip was looking for the bump instead of the ball, and that's going to stop any chance of a comeback.
Yeah, that's it. 5 seconds, not enough to get a kickoff goal and a goal right here. Doesn't pull it back, but this the big the big narrative, I guess, coming through in this is that means Sylvia ties this game up. We've seen them be the ones to adapt. Kidney finds a very nice goal again, a little bit too little, too late, but showing that they're still fighting in the series. Of course they are. They're only they're tied up now. But yeah, it's 1-1. We've seen that Sylvia are able to adapt. Can Curtin though? I'm sure they can, but like, can they adapt enough is kind of the question.
Yeah, that is going to be the big question right now, because we've seen one adaptation come through, and for the most part, we kind of saw the same look from Curtin. They never really were able to break out of that slower pace, able to find, ways to get their own long, drawn-out individual plays until the very, very end, when we did see some hints of a passing game. Maybe we'll see more of that in our third game. I think that probably will be the most intelligent way to go. It's already been proven to be a bit successful. But is that a breakaway from the team identity, Fetch? That's something we don't know yet, and I think that's something we're about to discover in our third game.
Okay, well, I'm keen to see. I mean, whatever it takes to win a series is what it takes to win a series. So I'm sure they won't be hesitant to sort of try and find something, try something new, especially because we do have at least 2 more games in this series. It's best of 5 right here. Jads and Dan trying to make something happen, trying to play off the backboard. They are grouped up a little bit, so they have to be careful if they go get counterattacked. Manon puts the ball up high. It's going to waterfall down. Beats out one defender. Dan was put in a little bit of an awkward situation as it stands, and so many players going up, but none of them quite find that ideal touch. Manon, whoa, off Muzzy! Pinball with it or what?
All right, add another one to the count.
Oh, no.
We have to do it, Fetch. It's the rule.
We do.
I think that's now up to 4 in a row because we had that reset. I think it's gone up to 4 if my math is correct. I'm including some British streams actually in this list right now, but for me personally, it's now 4 Rocket League streams in a row with a known goal. So it had to come eventually. Probably would have been better in the quarterfinal than the semi, but it is what it is, and I don't think Sylvia's complaining.
They're not complaining at all. But, once again, their lead, this is kind of what happened in the first game, and Curtin came back. Cadeney was the player to pick up some big plays and really sort of structure that comeback for this team in that first game. Might be doing it again. Drip, 1v1 against Manon. Puts it low, but Manon actually was there to predict it and was able to make a very, very good defense. You commented on Sylvia's defense, and really that wasn't what you were complimenting, but it was still a very, very nice play from Manon, who is looking to be a threat in this one. Cadeney wins a very important 50. Mozzie has already pulled up in his position. And the passing, the sort of back and forth, the positioning and the backing up was quite good there for Curtin, but they couldn't quite break the line.
As we do see a double commit across that middle of the pitch right now, Dan is going to be able to collect it off that backboard from underneath. Jazz will be able to push it through. And now we have a bit of an opening for Jazz, who just took it straight through the defense. I always love making references to this GIF, and usually it's in League of Legends, but have you seen that video of just like the hippo trotting along as like a pride of about 6 lionesses are just trying to take it down and doing absolutely nothing?
I haven't.
That's what that attack was. It was amazing.
That's kind of phenomenal. Yeah, I can't believe that I haven't seen that. Compulsory viewing after the stream, clearly. But here it is, a forced attempt from Cadeney. Does actually manage to get past a couple of them, but the sheer numbers of the 1v3 on the defense was a little bit too much. Now they're straight back on their own defense for the side of Curtin. Manon trying to keep this one active. Mozzie getting that ball quickly as well. Dan is going to get up, get aggressive, and try and push this one forward. No defenders. Once again, the rotations of the court out a little bit. Dan just redirects at the last second. And Curtin Uni with a massive overextension.
Yeah, that was a bit awkward right there from the Curtin side. And the team that had looked so good before, they're making more and more of these little mistakes. And I'm getting more and more worried that this could be very indicative of how the rest of the series might be winding up right now. I mean, credit where credit is due. Sylvia has just been taking this one over after the slower start, but it really feels as if they've got Curtin kind of figured out.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I mean, more games to adapt to, even if this one does go, does end up being pretty one-sided. Curtin have time, and they've clearly got good individual plays. Things like overextension, sometimes you can sort of take a breath between games and be like, no, it's okay, guys, we got this. Just don't make those same mistakes. But if they are struggling finding goals as well, I kind of agree with you. It could look a little bit rough for them. But 2 minutes 30 seconds for them to at least make a mark in this game in particular. Drip goes up high, managed to get off the wall to reset that jump. Has have a couple of blue cars to pass to, but can't quite find them there. Mozzie puts the ball up high, but just goes straight towards Dan. Dan does pass it back immediately. The midfield control is looking decent from Curtin, but that's all they've got at the moment. It comes off the backboard. Drip to get the double connection. Not going to happen.
Not going to happen this time around, but still such a sustained attack. Eventually, something's got to break through. Drip had the chance. The net was there. Yes, Dan was on defense, but in theory, Drip should have been able to put that ball anywhere. Doesn't find the shot. Instead, it goes the other way off Kennedy and into the net. Now a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. But again, I don't know if Curtin was sort of looking at this as we've got this, easy comeback. It's sort of one where they might want to poke holes a little bit, and try and poke and prod, I should say, at their opponents. And see what they can do. See where they can make ground. See what they're doing wrong. Dan just powers it across the field. That one has to be a relatively quick one. Looking at the time, and 96 kilometers an hour is not slow by any means, but a great sort of the ability to pull those players out wide. But yeah, Curtin struggling a little bit. I don't know. It is kind of a, okay guys, take a breath, go next. But there is still value to keeping fighting in this game and seeing what where your opponent's weaknesses are, especially in those mechanical plays, which I feel like Curtin can still get an advantage of.
Yeah, I do agree. I feel like if Curtin is just able to get that one big moment, they can maybe as well carry that momentum into the next game. However, it just, I don't know, it's still feeling like a big ask for me because at every step, well, except for that one right there, it feels like that Sylvia has had their number, well, except for that one as well. All right, so all what Curtin needs is for awkward double commit whiffs and awkward 50-50 whiffs. They just need whiffs. And they'll be able to take advantage.
But okay, you're right. That was a big mistake. For
multiple mistakes.
It was a lot of mistakes. But like again, it sort of plays for the fact that I feel like Curtin are more stable on the mechanics. Like it feels like they're not going to make as many of those mistakes. So that is kind of the win condition and poking and prodding. A great demo and a great one off the crossbar. That one I don't think you can say was a misplay on the defense. I'm pretty happy giving that one to Curtin and saying well done, Sylvia. They maybe there's things they could have prepared for that one more, but great coordination I think.
Yeah. I mean, it was an awkward touch from the cheat, but at the same token, that one awkward touch doesn't equal a goal, right? They still had to position themselves correctly. They still got that demo. What is happening? Because we have had 3 goals scored in the past 10 seconds now.
Something happened. Sylvia, accidentally, they just realized they'd plugged in the wrong keyboards and were like, oh no, we've got to swap them around, trying to play. Something like that, I don't know. Something's gone horribly wrong for them, as what was a 5-0 lead has very quickly only become a 2-goal difference. And, maybe this is the momentum that they run with. Maybe this is what we're talking about, Kennedy.
Okay, 15 seconds now, 4 goals scored. We now have a game again. Kennedy on that dribble puts that one through. Look, we were saying, yeah, 1 goal might bring the momentum back. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's usually a talking point to maybe thinking, yeah, that could happen. But it literally has in this one, and we are just watching Sylvia kind of fall apart. 1 minute to go. This game, a chance to tie. Drip doesn't find that second top off of Jads.
1 minute to hold 1 goal is really rough in Rocket League. Right now, okay, not enough players committed up, but you're right. Right now, it is like really panic stations for Sylvia. I mean, Curtin Uni, they kind of smell blood in the water. Sylvia, they need to get at least 1 more goal because 1 is not enough, especially with the 0-second rule too. And they are getting aggressive.
Yeah, they are on that blue side of the pitch, but that is 2 attackers forward. Only Jads is back, and here comes Drip and Katney. Jads makes the read, and that could have been the game-saving read. Mozzie did stay back. Manon misses. Jads has to slow it down, and Mozzie will take advantage of the situation. Dan, though, was waiting mid-pitch, is able to keep it on the blue side, and now all 3 members of Sylvia are on that back half. They are playing defense right now, and Dan with that clear may have won this one. Mozzie swings. Mozzie misses. Katney gets what they can, but there is no one to collect. And Sylvia survive a late flurry in the final minute and a half.
And in case you were wondering why we say things like that, like, this team could rally a big moment or something, could bring them back into it, you saw that flurry of plays. You saw the comeback for Curtin. It may not have eventuated, but you saw it. You know that they now have the ability to pull this back. Yes, they have to win back-to-back games here. Yes, it's not an easy ask for them. Sylvia just have to take one of the next few, but still, you can feel it. You know that there's that possibility. You can feel it in your gut. Every viewer, I'm sure, has that. And, you know, that's something which I'm sure Sylvia have in the back of their mind as well.
That was close to equalizing the single greatest comeback performance I've ever seen in Rocket League. We were kind of one goal away from that. Cadney getting all 4 of those, which, if you remember to the first game, got the 3 as well. That did give Curtin that victory. I'm going to name drop this one, and normally I don't like comparing players, but I don't mind comparing performances. Realize, in Asia Pacific North, I still remember it was like the APL kickoff grand final, got 5 goals themselves in the final minute to take a game in the grand final. It was insane, like, to bring it back. Those performances can win you series in just 1 minute of play alone. Cadney is still looking for more, but this time the defense is back to make the save.
Yeah, they're playing much more carefully, and Jads is going to be able to walk that one in. Jads, that was a big effort, sort of solo from carrying it, but it was also a bit of a big Mozzie.
Yeah, where was Mozzie going?
Mozzie said, we've got someone else in the goal, it's fine. I think didn't realize that Drip was off getting boost. Bit of an awkward misplay there from Curtin, but maybe the strategy is they drop the first 3 goals. They initiate the buff. The comeback is huge. Maybe that's the game plan.
They just want, give Cadney some motivation, right? Give yourselves a bit of a deficit. Get Cadney, like, riled up, and then go for it, as Manon just doing some sick doughies across the middle of the pitch before making contact with the ball right there. Sets up Dan for the shot. Mozzie is able to fall back for the save this time around. I mean, look, that comeback was great, but they did fall short, Fetch, and already a goal down right now. As close as that was, it's got to be a little bit heartbreaking that they weren't able to seal the deal. And for the most part, Manon still is looking very good, and Jads is almost rising to that level as well. If we are still seeing a Sylvia side on form, it's going to be a tough win regardless for the Curtin side. I'd like to see them equalize sooner than later. I don't want any more last-minute heroics.
Yeah, true. That's very good point. You don't want to be relying on that. It's lovely to see, and it's very exciting from a broadcast perspective. A couple of players go up in the whiff. Mozzie does not pick that one up, and that could be a crucial mistake. Cadney can't get this one cleared. It does go up high to Manon, who puts in the corner for now, is trying to find some space to set up a passing play, potentially. Drip flicks way up high, straight to the top of Dan. Has the carry as well. Might be right in front of goal, but Jads just pinches it off the wall. And yeah, I think Sylvia's defense just dropped a little bit in that last minute and a half in that last game. So if they're able to set that up and stay structured, I do believe that they are by far and away the favorite still to win this. But again,
I agree.
Curtin, there's that little glimmer of opportunity. Demo goes on to Jads, but they aren't able to pick it up on the offense.
As we do see Cadney actually get that clear from the corner, Dan should be able to corral it from that backboard. Drip waiting underneath. Gets a light touch, throwing it up for Cadney. Now signs Dan off that backboard as well, who will be able to create a bit of space. Mozzie goes 1v1, but wins this one out. Shot towards the goal. Cadney gets one touch. Jads now is going to follow that one through. Drip slows it down, but only a little bit as, swing and a miss. They're getting so close to fighting these booming clears. Drip with the slower pace almost wins the 1v1, but Cadney's there. Dan is not, but the post comes through with the clutch save. Normally the goalpost, I would argue, is the best defender on the pitch. That hasn't been the case in a good long while now. Talk about elevating a play globally. It's been really great to see.
That sounded very, very snarky, but it is absolutely true. Like, there's that, there is that factor of, like, the ball just getting in an awkward position and stopping the attack and thwarting them. But yeah, that global level of defense, people figuring out how to play these, how to, kind of read the play as well as how to execute on it. But especially at the moment, Sylvia, it was a little bit desperation, but they never looked too flustered. They never looked too out of sorts. Whereas Curtin Uni struggling to find that equalizing goal, of course. Again, 1 goal lead is not enough in Rocket League. That is the most...
Oh, there it is. Maybe.
Drip's going to
go there underneath.
It is. Yep, fantastic effort.
Drip. I mean, it's funny, but you see it coming when there's still 2 defenders in front of the ball. Both of them jump right on over, and Drip's probably thinking, all right, I'll just drive this one straight through. If you're going to pre-jump like that. a little bit too over-eager on the Sylvia side does equalize this game up.
Unplugging your controller is one of the best mix-ups in any game. I promise you that.
True.
It's very good. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I said, though. Yeah, equalize, like, 1-goal lead is very, 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 weak? Not strong enough, I guess is probably a better way to put it in the context of this game. Drip has a bit of a breakaway. Doesn't come to the corner the way they might have liked. They do flick it into the center field, but Manon is at least ready for it for now.
Yeah, we'll see what Manon's going to be able to do playing it off that roof. That's Cadney underneath shot, but it will be saved by Dan. Final 50 seconds. We've seen some chaos already in a lot of our games, not just in this series, but in the last one as well. It's Cadney. Almost gets it past Manon. Follow up from Mozzie, though, looks good this time. Dan gets the save, and Cadney can't make contact with the ball. Drip once more is going to try to slow things down, but this time the defense ready for it. So close on so many chances. Curtin just wondering, why can't we get it through? Maybe this time not quite. Manon's already sold it away.
That was a triple commit in there at one point against a double commit, I'm pretty sure. 5 players all just jumping and slamming their cars at the ball. This pinch didn't quite go as well as Drip might have liked, but still holding control a little bit. Manon again playing that big defensive player, indexing very heavily into that role. 10 seconds
Well, this
left.
looks good.
Yeah, it could be it. It could be it. The defenders can't get there, and Jads might have just stolen that series away. Yes, I know they were in the lead, but it looked like we had an overtime right in front of it. Probably not going to happen unless there is some curtain heroics in the last 7 seconds. And hey, if any team can do it, you got to think they're the ones.
You have to think they have that chance. 7 seconds to go. The kickoff needs to be perfect. It's put in position for Cadney to contest, but they go for the boost instead, opting instead for the full pitch play. Dan steps forward, doesn't find the contact, but with that demo, it's up to Mozzie and Drip. The pass down, Drip is there, the shot is wide, and that will do it. Sylvia advances to the winner's final.
And again, you know, another series, which to be fair, that one was a 3-1 rather than just our, our 3-0 like we saw before. But those teams, there was opportunities probably from both of them to win that, right? Curtin, they showed enough things. What, 4 goals in some 20 or 30, seconds? That's, yeah, if you can do that, you can win series. They are still down to the lower bracket. Again, remember, this is double elimination. You can see the bracket up there. I just got updated. Thank you so much, admins. Just got updated with Curtin Uni going through and facing Romper Stompers in the lower bracket. But the next match we're going to have, and the next match on our stream, is going to be Sylvia versus Yeah Right. Any more closing thoughts about that series before we go to break and get ready for our upper bracket final?
I mean, I'm excited to see how strong this Yeah Right team is if they're the team that took down XVA, because XVA looked very good. Furthermore, we have our first casualty of the top 8, and it is the fan favorite Iconic, who has gone down 3-0 to the Rompa Stompas in the lower bracket. This is terrible, terrible news for fans of fancy names, but at the end of the day, I mean, what we saw from Rompa Stompas, I can't say I'm too surprised to see them advancing.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not too disappointed. They looked cool. They did some very cool things. So, you know what? Good for them. But that will be us for this game. We're going to be having a quick break. See you after that with the upper bracket finals. Be back soon. This is the 2021 Riverina Cup, brought to you by AEL and, of course, Farfetch and Formal Casting. This is an event designed specifically to promote esports and community in the city of Wagga Wagga and the Riverina region. Thank you so much for joining us. We have our upper bracket final. This one should be exciting. Sylvia versus Yeah Right. I'm pretty keen. We've seen Sylvia do a fantastic job. They kind of dismantled Curtin Uni in that last series. XVA did a fantastic job in our first game of the night, and they got taken out by Yeah Right. So these two teams very strong from what we've seen so far, and it should make for a good upper bracket final.
Yeah, it definitely should make for a fun one to end this one out. I'm really excited to see how Yeah Right is going to match up against Sylvia, because Sylvia has their moments, and the big thing that I really took away from that last semifinal was how clean their rotations were when they got going. They made an odd mistake every now and then, but they always seem to have a plan in case for it. Now, when the individual plays came out and we saw some nice dribbles, that's where we saw some mistakes. However, Manon was the player to watch for in that last series. My eyes are still going to be on them, particularly on that defensive side and that ability to dish passes out in perfect spots. If we are going to see this team go to the grand final here, Manon will be one of the key reasons why.
I'm inclined to agree with you on that one. Manon did such a fantastic effort, being the clutch defender, being able to pull some of those balls up through the defense, through the sort of the middle of the field, I should say. And I have great expectations for this player, but I believe we're getting our players into the lobby quickly. I don't know if everyone's here just yet, but I promise as soon as everyone is good to go, we will hit that start button, and it will be very exciting. That metaphorical start button. Okay, people are jumping into their roles. I feel like we're still missing someone though. Or we just played 2v3.
Oh, is that Okay, yeah, so we are going to be waiting a little bit, although seeing 2v3? Is that legit?
If so,
well,
I'm very impressed with how this team got here, how this team Yeah Right got here so far. Having looked at the names, Seiji, Lucky Luke on Yeah Right, and Silver, Dan, Jads, and Manon.
I am impressed, to say the least, if this has been a 2v3 run from Segi and Lucky Luke to get themselves this far. I mean, finding the win here would be something very impressive, and they've got the first goal out of Segi, so you know what? Let's not write off this duo just yet.
Oh, absolutely not. There are so many questions here which are about to be answered. This is, this is a kind of an incredible situation. Yeah, it is just a 2v3. Just got, confirmation specifically from Nitro, our wonderful admin. One of our many wonderful admins. We have quite a few of them here. But yeah, it's a 2v3. And yeah, here they are. You know, that is phenomenal. I'm so impressed with them right now, and we have to see if they can win against a team like their opponents here, who I covered up with Discord checking the answers. Sylvia, there we go. We just casted them. You think I'd be more on top of it? Yeah,
it's all good though. But look, I'm noticing some big things already on this blue side, and it had to be with those tags, those ESL monthly tags. Now, those were handed out a good long while ago. Those aren't necessarily reference to what we saw, you know, during RLCSX. In fact, I think it would be like 3 or 4 years ago when ESL would have those monthly events, and only the best of the best would be able to win those events and get those tags. So we're talking about players who, at minimum, were at the semi-pro level. So the fact that these two have been putting forth dominant performances, when you take that into consideration, actually not that surprising, as we do see Lucky Luke put another one through right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a big effort, right? 3v2 is not a small disadvantage to try and make up from. But with players of this sort of talent, I believe I was alt-tabbed when I actually showed the playlist. Lucky Luke and Seiji versus Dan, Jads, and Manon. And this is an incredible showing from this team. I mean, Dan puts the pressure on quite nicely. Manon trying to play that third player, create that numbers difference and really bring it to bear. But look at how strong the respect is from Sylvia here. The second they realize the attack isn't going through, they immediately rotate back and they're not playing this like it's a 3v2. They're playing it like it's a 3v3. Given how good this team is, they're not trying to get cheesy and silly. They are really looking for opportunities, finding demos, trying to make that numbers advantage hurt as much as it can.
And I knew I recognized the Lucky Luke name. I had to do some quick research to figure out, where did I see this player before? And it was back during the ODL League, actually. Lucky Luke competed in that alongside some names like JR Tins, Plitz, Azura, and found successes there. So again, As suspected, this is essentially, a player that comes through at that semi-professional level, and it's taking it to that next step, I suppose. And we have seen that in action, because name one unforced error that we've seen from the blue team thus far. It really hasn't come through just yet. It's how come they've been able to keep this one so tight. It's how come they already have that 2-0 lead. And if they can continue to make that first defender mess, then it turns into a proper 2v2. So really exciting to see. I'm sorry to say I don't recognize Segi's name. That isn't one I've come across before personally. But Lucky Luke was one that caught my eye, and I'm happy I was able to figure out why.
Well done on that one. There is a lot of players in the Rocket League scene. Dan puts off the crossbar, screen one more player, no one there to rotate back, and they do drop it in well enough. Jads 2-1 now, and something which I've been interested in. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one a little bit as well, Formal, because we've seen a lot of different teams try a lot of different strategies to close out these 3v2s, especially when they are coming up against phenomenal players like the side of Yeah Right. And Sylvia seemed to be taking the approach that, like, focus on the demos, try and create a 3v1. Because if worst comes to worst, you're slightly out of position from the demo, but you still have a 2v1 your opponent. And, fractions, anyone who's sort of learned their fractions knows that's a much better advantage. I don't know how I feel about that, though. It feels like you're committing so much to try and take one player out, you're not watching your spacing and your positioning.
Well, we are seeing Segi get a nice bump on the Jads right there. And, I mean, when you have a player like Lucky Luke who can take advantage of that positioning and spacing, well, I'd say go for it. The thing is, we have seen enough competency out of this orange side that I don't think it will work each and every time. Case in point, Manon is able to find the equalizer right here. Was the player to watch, and they do tie the ball game up.
Yeah, Manon just picks up on that that sort of attempt at the clearance out wide really well. No having anyone to reliably pass to in that situation when you're in the 2v3 means that your opponent has less options. Manon kind of sees that and understands that. Lucky Luke goes to the top of Manon this time, though. Jad's going to be in a 50-50 up against Seiji. Doesn't actually win out on it, so it's going to be able to run this one down the side. Scores are tied, 1 minute and 16 seconds left. Manon tries to take that one. It goes back to Dan. So still control here for the side of Sylvia, but they're going to have to try and find something a little bit more special. Lucky Luke holds back, plays that goalkeeper role, and is able to find a clearance.
As that we do see that ball roll across the middle of the pitch, taken away by the side of Manon. 1 minute to go. Ball game still tied. How great would another overtime be in a 2v3 in our winners finals showdown? Jads probably doesn't agree, but we'll have to kind of settle for it for now as Lucky Luke clears it towards the middle of the pitch, stolen away by Manon. Segi alone on defense. Doesn't get the 50 they want. Dan with a chance for the shot. Goes for the left side. Great reaction from Lucky Luke to make the save.
And they didn't even double commit on it. That really is sort of the kiss of death for a side who is 2v3ing. A double commit that's your whole team. That's gone. You have no defense after that. Seiji runs it down the field. Open goal. 3v2 and the advantage right now goes to Yeah Right. No overtime no overtime if Sylvia can't find the score, and it's taken them a bit to be able to find those opportunities. Even though they've done it well, it hasn't been that quick. They've got 23 seconds to go, and if they want to have a chance of taking this first game, that's what they've got to do.
My favorite moment of that goal had to be Dan just dropping the controller and just watching it sail, and then just got bumped around by Lucky Luke at the tail end of it all, just admitting defeat. Although we're not done yet, Fetch, because with 11 seconds, Jads is able to tie it up.
Yeah, really good pickup for Dan, taking that contest, getting aggressive, not letting the fact that, Yeah Right, their players are good, but if you get in their face and just sort of make life hard for them, that is a good way to equalize those sort of skill differences. We say in almost every broadcast, and it's very true. 11 seconds, game's not done yet. A big play could come out from either of these teams to stop that overtime. But a great flick from Jazz. Almost forced it over. It's so delicate, it's so careful. 1 second left, and it's done. There is our first overtime.
Jazz almost had the highlight of the tournament right there to put this one away. Instead, they're going to rely on Dan for the shot off the backboard. Manon doesn't get there in time as Lucky Luke will take it back the other way. That was, the classic ceiling shot, reset, double touch attempt. And it was so close to going in. I don't think that Yeah Right was expecting that kind of mechanical play. I certainly wasn't. A bit of a shame that they weren't able to complete it.
Yeah, Seiji at some point there was just hoping that play would be, the ball would put in a position they would be able to do something about it. And don't get me wrong, the second it was, they made the perfect play. But now we are taken to overtime. So dangerous, Seiji. The goal is open. They might have just found it. Not only are they able to defend against that ridiculous roof shot, but they are able to find themselves the goal in the overtime. Yeah Right, in the 3v2 take the first game.
Yeah, right is so good from the middle of the pitch. Siggy in particular has been striking. I think 3 of the 4 goals came from just mid-pitch strikes going over the defense and into the net. The positioning so ideal. And when you take a look at the shot differential, again, this is a 2v3, still be able to put 9 shots on target. It's fantastic from Yeah, right. Obviously enough to find the win, but what I'm more impressed was they find that kind of offense while taking 13 shots against them and still holding on to getting more goals.
Yeah, that is phenomenal, right? The consistent shots, the goals on target as well, being able to get those plays, 2 individual plays, 2 team goals from this team, but they are incredible to watch just straight away. And I think that like these 2 teams are. I'm just really excited that we got them for our upper bracket finals. Like, we've had some phenomenal series. I've really enjoyed the talent we've seen from this tournament so far, but this really is phenomenal. I'm not sure if this is a substitute. I think we probably want to make sure of that one. But there are now 6 players in the lobby, obviously not including Formal myself. So maybe we might see a 3v3 here. But I still don't know, even if that's the case, if I count Sylvia out right here. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, Baba Yaga. That's another name I recognize as well. Actually, I might have to do a little bit of research back in time to try and figure out this one again. But I feel the inclusion of this 3rd member, considering how that first game went, it's going to be dangerous. Although we've seen this happen before where the team gets the 3rd member and then the rotations get a bit sloppy. They kind of forget how to play proper threes and wind up losing out at the end. Maybe that can happen here. Case in point, swing and a miss from Baba Yaga. Shot comes through, but it's going to be recovered and saved by the player in question.
Ooh, a big bump by Jads. Actually gets it! Jads knocks one of the defenders out of the way, pulls, puts the pressure on. Have a look at Jads, who is off in the corner of the screen. Okay, can't see the rest of the net there. But Dan puts it on. Jads knocks someone out of the way, causes Baba Yaga to kind of try and be the last clutch defender, and then Jads just slams it in. Great effort there, of course. Good teamwork, but Jads in particular on point with the bump straight into the goal.
Yeah, that was a really nice shot right there, as we do see. More pressure now starting to come through. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any quick information on Baba Yaga, so I can't tell you where I recognized the name before. It could have been from this league last season. Like, that is still very possible. As we see the pass across the Lucky Time save is going to be made. I will say this, though. When I was trying to look them up, Banana Head came up, and, I mean, it's obviously not the same player, but if it's the same player quality, well, then this series should be easy done.
Yeah, potentially. But, I mean, again, Sylvia not going to sort of refusing to look at the nameplates and refusing to act like they aren't a solid chance in this, but I think they are, genuinely, especially with that opening goal. The tricky thing with a name like Baba Yaga is that is actually like a name. It's actually a term from folklore. So it's hard to like, you're kind of just like, do I actually know, is that a player? Do I just know it from like the stories? So that's a tricky one. So fair enough on that. Right at the moment though, they might be looking to set up a 3rd position from Seiji. The play is not bad. Oof. The pass back, the guts on that, and the confidence as well to give that one to Dan.
Wasn't? Oh yeah. Is it actually Keanu Reeves playing right now? That's the question. Has Keanu Reeves subbed in? Because that was what they called John Wick, right? Was the Baba Yaga the boogeyman? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'd forgotten about that, actually.
Yeah, that could be where I remembered the name from. That's a very real possibility as well.
That's why it's rated R, because there's a lot of... Yeah, I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to actually like affect the potential rating of this stream.
It's a lot of bang in that movie.
Let's go,
a lot of that goal explosion right there. Allow the pop, bang, just like this goal in and of itself as Jads makes it 2-0.
Accurate representation of the entire John Wick trilogy right there. And right as it is at the moment, 2 goals for Jads, so 1-2 incompleted. Mike looking for the 3rd, if they can find that. And I was not expecting this. I mean, I agree with you. Your point about the fact that sometimes when the synergy of that 3rd player comes in, it can look a little bit awkward. The touch wasn't quite there, and now Baba Yaga is going to try and go through. Try and carry that one down the field, but yeah, like, it's not, this isn't the first time we've seen this, right? A team take a game 2v3 and then lose the next one when they get their, extra substitute or 3rd player in. But it is surprising a little bit because of how good these 2 players looked. That said, kind of not completely shocked. Not like I didn't expect this to happen because Sylvia did look good.
Yeah, and Sylvia also, when you go back to that winter semifinal, their biggest strength was their ability to adjust in between game 1 and game 2 and 3. And we've kind of seen that already in this one. They've gone back to the more spread out look actually, that we saw at the very, very start of that semifinal. That's where they've been finding their successes because of the awkward rotations. We've seen double commits at times coming from the blue team as Jads is able to find another breakaway situation. You can see the deep spacing was already moving forwards. All you have to do is beat out that over-aggressive tack. You got yourself a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, and now that Yeah Right have a third player, it's almost like they feel like they can play more aggressive. But now instead of committing like 2 players up, they're just committing 3 players. Manon has a bit of a breakaway. He's gonna put up the backboard, set up the pass, and Jads 4 in a row. I mean, Manon did a lot of the work for that one, but again, Jads in the perfect position consistently.
Yeah, that's great job from Jads right there. Able to beat Lucky Luke to the play, put that one in. I just think it's part of the MO from this orange side. They drop game 1 to learn about their opponents and then just take over after that. That definitely seems to be the reoccurring case at the moment as we see a double commit this time come out from the defense, but once more we see the the deep spacing. And on that time, well, the deep spacing does punish Segi, able to get one back.
Yeah, and they were kind of, pulling the players forward. I feel like that's the thing. Like, yeah, right? Attacking, when they're able to kind of set up that aggression, when the aggression's working for them, they play it really well. Yeah, sometimes that ends into an overextension. In fact, 4 times in this game, you could argue it's ended in an overextension. Well, 3, maybe is more fair to say. But when they are able to put those pieces together, when they aren't getting kind of quick fire counterattack, they're so scary. And that's what won them that first game. That's what got them that overtime victory, especially. Jazz trying to set something up here, gets intercepted by Luke. And actually, 3 players already up and already aggressive. Doesn't look like much more is going to happen there from Yeah Right.
Yeah, it's interesting because they keep going for these very far forward plays on the side of Yeah Right, where they get everyone up towards that backboard, get everything nice and tight. But if you go back to most of their goals, it's been Segi striking it from the middle of the field, stopping a counterattack play. And that reason alone makes me wonder, do they really want to continue this approach? I almost wouldn't mind seeing them sort of flip the map a little bit and focus more on the defensive side and look for more of those counterattack situations and kind of let, in this situation, Sylvia come to them. I think that's where they'll find more success, although this time Lucky Luke passed back to Baba Yaga. The shot didn't have power, and Manon again showing their defensive expertise, makes the first save, stays patient for the second, and that time it was Jads who shuts it down.
Yeah, still a double commitment on the defense there, but after that they were able to pick up from it immediately very, very well. Jads trying to contest one, Baba Yaga way too high. Does almost get that very tight pass down to that other player who was on the attacking line, but with 36 seconds left, they can't afford to, they can't afford to be going close. They need to be making sure the plays are connecting right here and right now. Jads puts the ball up forward. Lucky Luke tries to intercept for the backboard, doesn't get the touch they might have liked, and now it's going to be Manon keeping the attack going, trying to get even another one here to keep that offense and keep them keep them kind of in the habit of making these attacks play, not just sit back and be happy with a 3-goal advantage. Within 15 seconds, you've got to think this is going to be the game in favor of Sylvia.
You'd have to think that's going to be the case, but I do like the late defensive adjustment that we're seeing. It does look as if we are seeing more earnest on playing on the blue side of the pitch than the orange side of the pitch, and I can almost guarantee you that is an intentional decision coming from the side of Yeah Right. I think they feel more comfortable now going for the counterattack like we were hoping, or at least that I was hoping to see more. I wanted to see that earlier, but we saw it late, and we saw that the defense can hold off those Sylvia attacks. So as we go into Game 3, I expect to see more of the same. I expect to see more time of possession, more ball control on that blue side of the field, but I also expect to see Yeah Right possibly win it.
I agree. I think that Yeah Right is still the favorites, right? Like Sylvia was kind of an upset. Maybe to add sort of more to that point, maybe Yeah Right did just need time to make sure they were fitting all their players, making sure they knew what everyone's roles were. But I do agree. If they kind of just, yes, Sylvia are good at adapting, but this is the first time Yeah Right have really been put in that situation where they've needed to make their own mid-game adaptation. You already see less of that intense, aggressive commitment. Seiji is going to put this one potentially off the back. Doesn't actually kind of get too much of a connection off it, but Baba Yaga is there to pick that one up very fancily. Comes off the side, and that's actually perfect for Lucky Luke as they put an early one away in less than 20 seconds.
Yeah, pass just outside the box. Lucky Luke able to find the gap in the defense and kind of drive their way through the traffic, get that goal. That was a lot more akin to the type of shots that I think they were looking for a majority of game number 2. They finally are able to pull it off. But it was also more set up from that middle of the field, and it was more set up off of that counterattack I was talking about before. That's awkward. Hey, if you're Sylvia, you take it. Dan with the long-distance shot.
I remember we said that in the previous series. 109 Ks though straight down the field, no chance. I mean, Jads was still cheating forward. Jads was still holding an aggressive position in case a pass or something came through because they clearly scouted out that play. But it sort of just worked without the need to put too many more kind of plays into effect. Right at the moment now, it's Lucky Luke and Baba Yaga trying to put that one forward aggressive immediately. And here it is again, Jad's taking the aggressive positioning, but this time they have the answer. They have the rotation back a little bit faster. It gets a touch chaotic for a second there at least. And it is going to be Sylvia who are getting the benefactor of this. Baba Yaga tries to play it awkwardly, tries to get it clear, and actually just put it in enough of a weird position to keep the attack from putting on too much more pressure. Lucky Luke still to find a clearance out there, tries to go past Baba Yaga, but it gets intercepted by Manon, who plays it through the corner, has the ability, but didn't quite manage to hold onto the ball well enough there, and Dan passes it back, but it's just going to be picked up, and potentially the attack flipped here.
As we do watch Baba Yaga through the corner, winds up throwing it back across the field, but Lucky Luke may have cheated a bit too far forward on that play, and Jads stealing away that corner boost. Resources are already going to be low, however, Manon kind of swung and whiffed with that shot, so the end result will be a counterattack eventually. Perhaps an opportunity missed at the moment from Sylvia. They will find another one eventually, as Manon with possession of the ball will obviously get that back to the blue side. Lucky Luke steals it away from behind. Jazz was already playing forward, looking for bumps, looking for demos. I love how much of the field that Sylvia continues to use, and it's always Jads who it feels like is cheating up, looking for that hyper-aggressive play. Now goes for the reset, doesn't make contact, might not have needed to, except the ball hit the post.
Yeah, and didn't manage to get the knock elsewise, but that was a very, very good play, showing what they are capable of, showing those high-flying styles. And you're right, Jad's being the one to kind of lead this big, wide-open field control, which is giving such a good edge to Sylvia right at the moment. It's keeping them on the attack. Right at the moment, it's going to be Dan trying to pull that one forward. It was a bit of an aggressive touch, might give that ball over. Lucky Luke doesn't get a huge touch on it. Baba Yaga wins that 50, and now Manon tries to put it out wide, tries to put it in the defensive corner, but no clearance just yet. Seiji does manage to get that one past. 3 players have committed up on the attack. This is sort of the risky situation for both teams, to be fair. 2 players have pulled back into that rotation. Baba Yaga, no knock or bump coming in from Jads just yet, and Manon's going to put this one on target. It comes off the crossbar. The third player not able to get the touch of that one.
This is the counter-attack.
Lucky Luke is here. So is Jads, but Lucky Luke gets the better of it, and finally a 1-goal lead in this series for Yeah Right.
And it's done the exact way I kind of thought it would go down for Yeah Right. It was going to be off that counterattack. Their defense has been proven competent enough time and time again that they can handle a longer offensive barrage if they can just play it patiently. That time they do. They find their opening, and Lucky Luke was there to put it through. A great go-ahead goal, and they almost find another off the kickoff. That time it saved who else by Manon.
Yeah, exactly. That very stalwart defensive player. And sorry, it was Dan who made that that really, really solid, ferocious rotation attempt. Jads, again, holding up that aggressive position, tries to bait out an awkward touch from Baba Yaga. Doesn't quite happen, though. Dan on that wing, trying to make it an aggressive play once again. Doesn't come through. Lucky Luke has the run of it. Passes it back forward. Tries to get a jink over both the defenders, but the speed wasn't there. But it's okay, because Baba Yaga tries to pick this one up. And it is just Manon again on defense. But they do actually rotate enough players through that Sylvia are able to hold on for now, and they're going to have a counterattack.
Yeah, as we see Segi collect that ball from underneath, but here comes Baba Yaga throwing it forward. Oh, Manon will actually bump him off, and now Dan has a chance. Goes across that pitch. Jazz has a look underneath, but doesn't want to play for it just yet. Lucky Luke down to Baba Yaga. Ball intercepted by Dan temporarily, but eventually Manon will come through. Shot on target, but Segi will push it back up that other way, and now has a chance for a go-ahead. Well, not really a go-ahead, but more of a series-ahead goal, because a 2-goal differential in this game could be a death blow.
Yeah, it really, really could be here. Still time on the clock to kind of pull this one back for Sylvia, but, you know, match point in sort of in the eyes of Yeah Right. They can see it, they can taste it, and if they build that momentum up, you think it's going to be hard for Sylvia. They're good at adaptation, but their opponents are absolutely phenomenal right here. Jad's trying to hold back that defensive position.
They absolutely have been playing phenomenally. I mean, again, this is a lot higher quality. I keep emphasizing this point, and I know you were mirroring me with it, than what we had been, you know, kind of expecting coming into this one. But that's the benefits of an event like this, when it is all ages, not all ages, all skill level as well, a community event in that regard. You sort of expect that, but once you get to the tail end, once you get to a winner's final, this is what you are hoping to see. Manon can't make contact, and Dan winds up putting it the wrong way. Baba Yaga already there to capitalize and push it back. Now this could lead to an opening, perhaps a back-and-forth game all of a sudden with just 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's not much time for Sylvia to come back into it. But I do agree with you. If I was coaching a team and they were playing like either of these two, I'd be pretty proud of them. I'm just gonna say it. Manon right now plays off the wall, gets intercepted by Lucky Luke. They're just trying to play this sort of attacking defense, if that makes sense. They're keeping the ball down this side of the field. They don't necessarily need to score, but at least if they can trip up, if they can trip up Sylvia for long enough, they might have an opportunity, but the ball does come back onto the defensive line. 9 seconds left. You have an opportunity of kickoff goal if you can find a goal right here. With the way the ball is slowing down, with Baba Yaga's touch way out wide, that really awkward pinch, that's got to seal it. Yeah, right, do go up 2-1 in this series, and they start to build themselves some momentum.
And Baba Yaga comes from the player that joins in and kind of messes up the rotation, so the player that leaves with that MVP score. Again, I don't usually put a lot of weight in it. However, that's because goals usually kind of boost those points up. Baba Yaga, 3 assists, 0 goals, still the highest score in the game, definitely was putting in work, and a lot of it came from the shooting pressure. Baba Yaga was constantly touching that ball towards the net, forcing the defense in awkward positions, and that's when the rest of the team would capitalize on it. So, as we do go to game number 4, I do expect more of the same right now coming from the side of Yeah Right Sylvia. They've proved to be an adaptable team in the past. Can they find another adaptation here to get themselves into game 5?
I just lost audio, sorry, so I didn't catch the tail end of what you just said there. But I'm excited. That's it. That's my point.
Cool.
And I am back now.
Excellent.
That's also important.
No, that you know what? That counts. That works. You could have just said I'm excited and no one would have known the difference. Either way, Dan actually just caught up in the middle of traffic, won't be able to find the pass back to Manon, who goes for a fake touch, but didn't really... Still too much power behind that, despite trying to slow it down. A little bit awkward, and even more awkward was how accurate that clear was. Segi again from the middle of the pitch. It's always so scary.
Yeah, it is. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Lucky Luke trying to clear that one, trying to put that one up for Baba Yaga for the clear, and again, an early goal here. So good for Yeah Right if they can find it. Sylvia feel kind of up against it right at the moment. Match point right now for our blue team. And they aren't giving many opportunities since they sort of found the answer to those rotations. They've looked pretty good. That one comes off the top corner. Jads can't quite find it after Manon. The first attempt, Dan tries to play through on the third player, but it was a bit too late there. Lucky Luke tries to put it up for Seiji. And it goes to a really dangerous spot as well. Jads can't quite make the save. The second touch off the wall, and it's Lucky Luke who gets it at the end. That came off just about everyone twice, it felt like.
Yeah, it was a very extended play, but I love how efficient Yeah Right was at using that backboard. Like, everyone knew exactly where that ball was going to be, exactly where they needed to put it for the next member forward, and eventually the defense just wouldn't have that read. They would run out of resources, and the goal would be there. So it was, strangely enough, a patient attack, but a very, very precise one. And those are the little mechanical differences right now that really do feel like they're putting Yeah Right ahead. Ooh, Dan, very fortunate to get that one away from Lucky Luke. And in the past where we would have seen the triple commit, now we're seeing rotates back coming from the side of Yeah Right. They definitely feel more in this sort of 3-man form. It's looking more and more as if Yeah Right is going to be going to our grand final.
Oh yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you on that one, but it's obviously it's not over. There's still plenty of time to play. It's a 1-goal lead, especially in the context of Rocket League. But with how controlled they look, that's the difference maker. That's what's making me kind of think that. You know, it's not just the fact that they're kind of giving up plays every now and again. It's the... actually, yeah, big opportunity.
That looks good.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's just too much. It's too much, unfortunately, for Sylvia to handle right there. Dan needed to make contact with that ball, but I can almost guarantee you the reason why Dan tried to slow play it at the end was because they saw Segi going straight for it, and Dan didn't have the momentum to get that ball safely in the corner. Had that been pushed straight, it would have been an even quicker goal than what we saw. There was just no winning options there, and that's coming from the fast play, the precise play, that's out of Yeah Right. They really have taken that game to that next level, and until we see an elevation of gameplay or a flurry of unforced errors coming from the blue side, I feel as if that 2-goal cushion should be enough.
Yeah, that two-goal cushion is kind of what you want at least, right? You know, maybe Yeah Right, find more of them, but right at the moment they've got to feel pretty confident, especially with how well they could tie up Sylvia on that defense. And Baba Yaga now has an opportunity as well. I mean, Jads locks down little Lukey with that demo, but there's still plenty of room for the rotations, plenty of time for them to play with as they can clear that one out wide, get the demo back onto Jads, of course, that player pulls up, and Lucky Luke actually gets one as well. So for a second there, it was a 1v3, Lucky Luke getting getting into the freestyles a little bit.
Oh, that was good!
Down was fantastic.
Segi straight down the middle, able to drive that one in as we watch this one more time. Lucky Luke, you can see spiking it down, and then Segi just finding that goal. A great little setup and shot. I love Segi straight down the middle. That's become my favorite thing of this event right now because it's so consistently strong. Under 2 minutes to go. Manon had a chance, but wound up a little bit off center, and that's going to result in possession being taken away. Fetch. We're in the home stretch right now, and I feel like if there are any fans out there of this Yeah Right team, they're starting to breathe a couple sighs of relief. It's looking as if they're going to our grand final.
Yeah, they've been through a bit of an emotional roller coaster this series, What do you mean 3v2, guys? But yeah, no, they can feel a little bit more confident about it. I like the fact that Manon tried something big there off the ceiling, didn't quite work out, and the pass straight across. Oh, actually forced out, but it's fine. Seiji not quite down the center, a little bit off to the side that time. But again, so much pressure coming from Yeah Right. They might get counterattacked here. Depends what Manon can do. Just gets flicked out wide, so the clearance is going to come through for the side of Yeah Right again. Wagga just trying to. It just ends up being, it's a bit of a scrap here. I thought that, they were going to go into freestyles and just fun things like that. But no, they're scrapping, they're brawling, and they're getting really, really tight on the plays.
Brawly Rocket League is the most fun.
It's pretty fun.
It's where we change from, like, football or soccer to AFL. It's when the brawls start. I love it. It's so good. Anyways, Baba Yaga is going to go for another clearing shot. Again, what Baba Yaga does best, always putting those balls towards the net. I want to go back to that 2v3 because I know you were talking about briefly before how critical it was actually that Yeah Right was able to win that game, because assuming they lost right now, they kind of would have been put in a situation where they may have been having to reverse sweep, or they would have been at that disadvantage. But the fact that they flipped that disadvantage into a major advantage when they did get their full roster back, I mean, that is absolutely monumental. I just think this series could have been so different had we seen Sylvia actually get the win in that situation.
Absolutely. Like, a completely different story. And, sometimes these teams take that first game to sort of scout out their opponents like we thought Sylvia might have been doing in that first game. But it shows why it's important. That momentum going 2-0 up for Sylvia could have changed so much here. And it does travel through for them at the end, but one goal is not going to be enough to make a comeback, even if they get, even if there's, 0.1 second left on the clock and they somehow get some weird physics happens in this game, that's it. That is the game done. There it is. Yeah Right, taking it 3-1. And, I mean, you can't say they didn't deserve it. They are phenomenal players.
Yeah, the match does come to an end right there. Yeah Right, 3-1 in the final, just like 3-1 in their semifinal. And if I'm not mistaken, it was 3-0 in their quarterfinal against the Iconic. I thought they went 3-1 all the way, but they still get their victory when it is all said and done. Really well done too. Yeah Right, they go to the grand final. But here's the sad news for everyone watching along, Fetch. That grand final is not until next week.
Hey, that's exciting. A whole more week of anticipating and theory crafting. Get the corkboard out, see what you can come up with. Next week, we will have one of the lower bracket round 2 matches, and then, of course, the final, the lower bracket round 3 match, and the final, I believe. I should probably triple check that one because...
It is lower round 3, lower final, grand final, or as I like to put it, lower semifinal, lower final, grand final. Essentially, we're going to have a mini gauntlet of 4 teams being run right now. We can't tell you who that lower round 3 is just yet. XVA and Vanguard are still in their match, as well as Curtin and Rompa Stompas. They're still playing their match, but it'll be the winner of those 2 in our first round next week.
And that's exciting. We had some great... I think all 3 of our series delivered today. They were, in total, I think we only got, 11 games out of the potential, 15, I think, if I can quick maths well.
Yeah, no game 5s. We didn't get any game 5s.
No game 5s.
We did get some overtimes.
Yeah, and they were good. All of the series were good. All the players showed up. You'll probably see some familiar faces if you do tune in next week. Of course, you are definitely going to get Sylvia and Yeah Right, but the challenger... the team who kind of faces those 2 and possibly tries to come down and make that lower bracket run is going to be a mystery for now. So make sure you tune in. And of course, follow us on social medias, not just AEL, but also, at the_far_fetched and at Formal Casting on Twitter. Thank you so much once again to all of our sponsors, Chatime, Predator, AOC, Indomie, and Rig. They are all down below us. Make sure to check them out. There's some giveaways and promotions going on their websites, I believe. Might be independent of us. Who knows? Good thing to keep an eye on and check out. Make sure that you have all of those products ready next week to watch. It doesn't have to be all of them, but, at least get yourself a Chatime. That's the way.
Exactly. I need it. My throat needs it.
Yes, I need a bit of a drink right now.
I have
so
a big weekend. Big weekend's coming up, so I
true.
need it.
Again, follow us on social media to see exactly what that.
Yeah, do
what
it. Do it.
these
See what
do.
I'm talking about on that social media.
Can't believe we're just curiosity gapping people online. It's great. But that will be it for us for today. Make sure to tune in for those games next week for the conclusion of what has been a fantastic tournament. Thank you so much to the city of Wagga Wagga and AEL for putting it on. We'll see you then.